be.
Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael.
I be John.
Dang it, I was going to do that, John. I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast. This is just a little place where the three of us, Michael, John, and Andrew, like to get together and talk about toys from the past. This week, hold on, got to find my notes. We rewind to 1982, 83, 84, one of those years. We're not 100% sure. And we're going to talk about Pirates of the Galaxseas, released by Remco. This is not Pirates of the Caribbean. This is not Guardians of the Galaxy. This is Pirates of the Galaxseas and has nothing to do with Chris Pratt or Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Beat that.
And it's Galaxseas.
Yeah.
Like a
Not like
CAS.
Galaxy, like Galaxseas.
Yes.
Which, if you're listening to this, you probably clicked on something and you saw that, but I just spelled it for you because that's what you get. We're going to talk about these. It's not a big line, but it actually seems kind of interesting. So we'll see, and it'll, like I said, we don't exactly know what year. We couple different years that we found, but before we can talk about that, John, why don't you do your thing?
I want to know what got Michael so messed up at the beginning.
I was in the middle of a sentence when Andrew hit the play button.
Because I was
trying to explain something, and then all of a sudden it popped up. We're starting to record, so when
Andrew
interrupted.
says start, he starts it.
I was in the process, like I was already moving to it. Michael was talking, and I hit the button. Like I can't stop. I'm doing it.
I was halfway through my thoughts, and I was thinking about. I got laughing because I got thinking about finishing my thought just as soon as we came back. But as soon as it
You should have. We've been like, what?
Yeah, you should have just went right into your thought, and people would have been totally confused.
Probably so.
Yeah, we probably confuse a lot of people anyway. So
Probably.
hopefully not. Hopefully Michael sets them straight. But
I'm sure we do, John. But Michael, he's prof is good. All right, go.
All right, let's talk about where you can find us. Of course, we got our websites at toyrewindpodcast.com, or you can check us out at crossthestreamsmedia.com. If you're on Cross the Streams Media, you can click on the little microphone deal and leave us a voicemail. We'd love to hear them. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube is Toy Rewind Podcast. And if you'd like to play a little bingo game, you can go to podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind and play along. Let us know what you get. If you get a blackout bingo, you get 1 square. Let us know.
That's right. Let us know. You can do that on all those different places like John just mentioned. And follow us. Speaking of YouTube, John, did you say YouTube?
I did say YouTube.
Okay.
No.
I didn't want to say speaking of YouTube and you not have mentioned YouTube.
Yeah, it's after Facebook. Facebook and YouTube is.
Okay. I just didn't want to say speaking of YouTube and then you not have mentioned it. Somebody's going to be like, I don't think you ever mentioned that. We got a couple of comments on our last video about some babies, the baby face dolls. So we got a few. Shout out to Ed. He said something really funny on Instagram, first off. But then we got some comments from people that actually remember having the dolls after they saw our video. They were like, oh, yes, I had one of those. And I think that's kind of cool. So thanks for dropping those comments on the YouTube video. And leave us more. Let us know if you had anything or if there's anything you'd like to hear us talk about. So, yeah.
Did you reply back to those comments?
I don't know. It's been a long week. It's been a super long week.
Michael, reply back to us.
I might have to reply back. I will.
Yeah, go on there and look at it.
So they know we actually saw their comments. Yes.
Yeah,
So
that
when they
would
listen to
probably
this one
be
or watch
better.
this one, they'll know that we know.
Yeah, so we do know it was there. Michael will do a better job than I will at responding to those comments.
Our
What
social media has not been the best here lately.
we're not the best at social media. We are four,
Yeah.
as we were talking about. Or sorry, three. There's four. We were talking about before we started the episode. We are three old guys. Okay, like we're not great at social, right? But Ed, what did he call him? It was Gore Lube. That's what it was. He said
Yeah,
more like
from Gore Lube.
Yeah, that was
Gore
a great comment. Even though there's no gore with those.
They were just scary.
It's just the eyes. The eyes can be gory.
They were
if you
creepy
know.
looking. Yeah, they're creepy.
I'm not absolutely sure I would have any of those in my house because they were really like, yeah.
Well, then you got your Batman behind you that just has big old white eyes.
Yeah, but he lives in the basement. And I have a door. He can't get out of the basement.
That's where bats belong, in the basement, huh?
Speaking of his eyes, so some of the I think I've sold them, but some of the Funkos that I had when we lived in Texas a while back, when I was really, really heavy into collecting, I had all kinds of stuff. Were glow in the dark, and they had the glow in the dark eyes and stuff. And when Bryony's dad, Mako, was living with us, he slept in the room that had all my Funkos. And I tried to do my best to get them as much light as possible during the day, so that when he turned the lights off at night, they would glow. And he told me a few times that it was a little creepy, and I was like, "Yes, done my job." So, shout out to Mako. All right, well, Lynn, we need to talk about some pirates. You guys ready to talk about some pirates?
Yeah, we can talk a few.
Let's rewind and get into it. You guys have got to get better at that.
Andrew just hits the button and goes. He's already hitting the button, but as soon as he gets done talking, he hits the button before we can reply.
I will say, most of the time, I'm already clicking the button, and then I just have to let go for it to start its thing. So,
gotcha.
I'm already in the I can't stop it.
Yeah.
So, John, you were going to say, let's rewind. So, all right, let's go. Let's do this, John. Go, Michael.
All right. The mute button's not working right. Okay. Unmute button. So, all right. So, like Andrew said earlier, we're not 100% sure if this was 82, 83, 84. So, but I'm thinking it's more 1983 because some of the copyrights even say 83. So, it could be late 83, early 84. So, 1983, Remco had a line of action figures that fit right in with their other lines of the Lost World of the Warlords and the Warrior Beast, which we actually talked about both of those back in episodes 51 and 52. So if you want to hear about those, hear a little more history on Remco and stuff like that. And I was listening to some of that, and we spent a lot of extra time talking about other things, and we've kind of cut that out since then. But about halfway through, then we start actually talking about the toy line. So anyway, this line is called Pirates of the Galaxseas. One thing I've noticed doing the research on this line, it doesn't seem like they're from outer space or anything. So I don't know where they found the Galaxseas at, but and there's not really much seas to it. They are pirates, but there's not really anything that kind of says that they're from outer space. There's two of the figures are like skeleton figures, so maybe they thought they were space skeletons or something. I don't know, but it's more like pirate skeletons is what they seem like. So anyway, like you see on Pirates of the Caribbean type stuff. So anyway, so I said all these lines that I've said, the Warrior Beasts, the Lost World of the Warlords, all that, and in this line here, and a lot of and there's a few other lines too in this from Remco from this time period. They were all similar to Motu figures. And like we said in those other episodes, this Remco wasn't trying to, they knew they couldn't outdo that juggernaut of Motu. Masters Universe.
By the power of Grayskull.
And Andrew just had to use that.
He didn't.
Oh, it's John.
Wasn't me.
John used that. Sorry.
Wasn't me. I'm yeah.
I had it queued.
So anyway, they knew they couldn't outdo Masters Universe, so they made their own lines that would fit almost perfectly into Masters of the Universe that you can interplay with those as well. So
I can see that. I can see that with these. Like these are the long lost, not the pirates specifically, but the skeletons. Maybe they were part of Skeletor's crew at some point.
Could be, but they're when Remco, all these bodies and these figures look like Masters of the Universe figures, but then you got this oddball looking head on top of all of them. I mean, the head doesn't really quite fit the body part, so it's kind of weird. And they do use several things over these, reuse some of these line pieces throughout the different lines. I know when we talked about Warlords, the one of the head sculpts was actually used a few years later in their wrestling line. So for one of the referees in the wrestling line. So that's one thing. One thing Remco did to save costs is they reused a lot of their stuff throughout the lines. But just like the previous two lines that I just talked about, the Warlords and Warrior Beasts, there was only 6 figures in this line. So the packaging, we'll talk about the packaging real quick. The packaging of all 6 figures were the same, with the card art resembling like a comic book cover. And that's another thing. The packaging is where Remco saved money too, because every package for every one of these were the same. The only difference was the blister part that held the figure onto the card. It just had an extra sticker with the name on of what the figure's name. So the figure the name wasn't on the card, or wasn't on the. It wasn't anywhere on there. It was just a sticker on the blister that told you the figure's name. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, you can see it right here. That little black sticker with the name on it.
Yeah, down at the bottom of the blister. Yeah. But the card was front and back was the same on every figure, so they didn't have to change any of that. They just print the same thing over and over. So, and the card in the background they're on an island. There's a couple skeleton pirates standing there, and there's a ship in the background in the sea. It does not look anything like here in outer space. So I don't know I don't know where the Galax part for Galaxseas comes from, but it's Remco. They fit in with
it should just be Pirates of the Seas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they fit in with the other lines, and some of these other lines were outer. I mean, like He-Man, it's outer space. Maybe they just thought
they were just trying to make it. Yeah,
that was the
something
theme.
Like that.
Theme back then. Almost every toy line had something to do with outer space, unless it's G.I. Joe. But then they had their space shuttle and all that too. So yeah.
Well, yeah, but that was actual space stuff.
Yeah, it was. The card backs were all the same as well, with top half consisting of the name on a flag. So it looked like a pirate flag, but it was a little longer, and it had Pirates of the Galaxseas, just like it said on the front of the card. It had it on the back, and then stating all out action and fully posable action figures, complete with accessories. And then also along underneath all that, they have a black and white drawing of all 6 figures. The bottom half of the card consists of a checklist of all the figures released by Remco at that time, which was Lost World of the Warlords, the Warrior Beasts. There was another line called Sarge Team. There was one called the Bad Guys. Then you had the 6 pirates that we're talking about now. Then there was a Conan line, and there was a Robot Defenders and Robot Renegades on that as well. So
our list just grew by what, 5?
Yeah. Let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different lines, and we've talked about this is the third one out of these.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we can add a few more to the line and these all kind of tie in together. They're all the same kind of figure, just different themes, and they all have the Sarge team has four different figures. Bad Guys has 4 figures. Conan has Conan King, Conan Warrior, Thoth Amon, Devourer of Souls, and Jewel Thief. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 figures. And then the Robot Defenders have 3, and the Robot Renegades have 3 figures in that line. So they're not all big lines. They're just a few figures here and there, but they all tie in together because they're all from that same time period. And Remco just different themes and just threw them. Said, hey, you can use these to play with your Motu figures. So,
I mean, why not deal with toy lines that somebody else has got something big going on? You do a few, adds to it.
There's no way like I said, that Juggernaut at the time. They just said, hey, our figures can play with yours, and we'll sell them along with yours, and we'll be happy. So, but something else. Each figure came with a free Pirates treasure, which was a gold or silver coin that depicted one of the figures' faces on one side, and then a Spanish French type design on the other side. It's kind of like you would find like a coin from back then, from the 1800s, from a sunken ship. A doubloon. Is that what it is? Doubloon? Is that what you said? Yeah. So that's what it
coins back then.
Yeah. So that's what it had, that design on one side, and it said Pirates of the Galaxseas, Remco 1983 was printed along the edge of the coin. And they were all randomly inserted with the figures. So they were when they were packaged, all you can see is the backside. So you didn't know which figure you had. The coin had the picture of the figure on it. You didn't know which one you had. And then when you open it up, you can have one figure, but the coin, you never knew which coin. They were just randomly inserted with the other. And they came in gold and silver as well. So these figures were 5.5 inch tall, and like I said earlier, they're shaped just like the Motu figures. They got that same stance and everything, so it fits right in with that. So the 6 figures. So we're going to go over each figure real quick. So you had Patch. Patch has a white beard with the red bandana. He has an eye patch on, like a pirate's patch.
I mean, it's good that he has a patch since his name is Patch.
Yeah. These most of these come with some kind of clothing accessory, and then they have a weapon. So Patch has a black vest and a red sash with a gold buckle. There is a variation on the gold buckle where it's a thicker buckle than and a thinner buckle. So it has 2 different versions on that, variations. And then he comes with a gun that resembles a blunderbuss, which is like a shortened musket type thing, like a pistol musket, I guess is the only way I can describe it. And all these weapons, they either come in black or silver. They did say that if you got a silver weapon, you had a silver coin. And if you had a black weapon, you had a gold coin. I don't know. And they said the black weapons were a little more rare than the silver ones. So I really don't know the validity of how valid that is. But that's some of the things I've caught on watching some researching this and watching a few videos. But so that's Patch. Now Cutlass. He has a yellow beard and mustache. He's got a black pirate hat, and he's got a blue shirt that he wears, and then he has a Cutlass style sword. And again, it either comes black or silver on the sword. Yeah.
So far the 2 that we've looked at are in blister packs, and they have a gold coin and a black weapon. But you can see his sword back behind him.
Yeah. Next one is Tattoo. He doesn't look nothing like Tattoo from the was it the Island show? Going deplane. What? Why can't I think of the name of that? What? I'm still trying to think of Paradise. It's not Paradise. It's I'll think of it here in a minute. But he always says deplane. So Tattoo, he's got a brown beard and mustache. He's got
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island. That's it. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of Fantasy. But anyway, so this Tattoo's got brown beard and mustache. He's got a white with purple striped bandana. He's got a couple of tattoos on him. He's got a scorpion tattoo across his chest. And then he's got a skull and crossbones on his shoulder. This guy, he didn't have any clothing accessories, so he's shirtless. And these bandanas they're wearing, and then the other, Cutlass's hat.
They're like molded, right?
His pirate hat, yeah, they're all molded to the head sculpt, so they're not clothing. So, but he comes with a double barrel gun. It's either black or silver, like I said, all of them are like that. So that's Tattoo. The next guy, his name is Pegleg. He is bald, and he's actually a Cyclops. But if you look at his head sculpt, it looks like he's got two eyes with something right between them.
Yeah, he's got two eye sockets, but they painted the one eye in the center.
Yeah, the eye socket. So that tells me they used this head sculpt for something else. Because that eye that's painted right between his other two eyes is not really. It's just painted on. Because he still has the other. Yeah, because all he did was just didn't paint his eyes. He just painted one right in between them. So.
He also, this one specifically, John, he looks like he covered his head with a paper bag and went out in the sun because his head looks way lighter than the rest of his body.
The one we're looking at, that's what I'm saying. On Remco, their head sculpts don't really match their bodies too much.
Not at all.
And this one you could tell it's made of a different plastic from the rest because it faded a little bit different more than the others. Than the rest of the body. I mean, the rest of the body looks fine. It's just the head looks like it's more white than tan, like the rest of his body. So,
but
that's
I can't tell for sure, but it looks like he has a silver sword, but he's still got a gold doubloon.
I can't see his. I can't tell on that picture, John.
Well, the sword's not black. The others.
No, I don't. It looks black to me. I don't know.
I found this picture, John.
There you
go. Okay. That's a clear
picture. Yeah.
So you can see
the eyes just
on
painted
this one.
right
His
in the center.
eyes. It's just painted right in the middle of it. It's really creepy, staring at you out of its double socket.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You figure if he's a Cyclops, he'd have a bigger eye. It looks like a small, tiny eye. So, but anyway, okay. So he has a white and blue striped shirt, and he's got one of his legs from his knee down is a peg leg, which you would have that with pirates having a peg leg, and then he's got a knife. He just comes with a knife. It's black or silver. Either comes black or silver. So there's now the next two characters are the skeleton figures in this series. So you have Ribs. He is a black skeleton, maybe a really, really dark blue, but I think he looks more black.
Yeah,
than he is blue. So he's got yellow eyes. He's got like a plastic vinyl top red cape, and it has two stripes that crisscross across his chest. And he shares the same sword as Cutlass. He's got a Cutlass style sword, and again, it either comes black or silver with that.
Okay. So he looks like somebody from a show, and I can't think of what show it is, but they're like skeletons that ran at people. What am I thinking of?
I don't know. Skeletons that run at people. I don't.
Yeah, they're like
Those aren't my movies, so I don't know.
I'll find it.
Kids
I'll
movie.
find it.
All right. So the next one,
Army
huh?
Army of the Darkness. It's Army of the Darkness.
Okay, never seen it. So, okay, so that's ribs. So the next one is crossbones. It's a red skeleton, and again, he's got yellow eyes. He's got a black plastic sash that goes around him with large fringes that hang down. It's kind of the one we're looking at. Kind of looks like a caveman type thing thrown over his shoulder. Looks like so. And then he's got a gun that resembles a blunderbuss, which is the same thing Patch had. So they shared the same weapon. And again, it either came in black or silver on that. The one thing about this character here, there was a toy company in 2017 that actually took a lot of these Remco molds and came up with more of these lines, kind of redone these, and a lot of them are kind of mixed up between between all of these different lines, and actually there is a red skeleton that looks almost similar to this one. It looks similar to Crossbones. So you've got to be careful when you're looking for these figures that you're actually, if you want the vintage ones from the mid 80s, what was it? Is it Zolo?
Yeah.
Zolo World or something like that. I think it's the name of that company. So they came out. They've got all these old Remco molds and were producing these figures as well. Again, they've kind of updated some of it and stuff like that. Like all these new lines coming out from old 80s lines. So two more things real quick on this line. There was two play sets that were advertised in the Remco 1984 Remco product catalog, but they were never produced or seen again after they were kind of introduced in the catalog. So there was a Treasure Island set. It came with it just says it came with the pirate figure. It didn't say which figure. It just says pirate figure. It was a desert island. It came with a treasure chest. It came with a few coins. It came with a shovel, and then it came with a cannon with trundle wheels. So that's what was supposed to come with this set that never showed. And then there was another set called Adrift at Sea. It had a pirate figure, a raft with oars. It had an anchor with a cord on it. It came with coins. There was a flag with a flagpole and stand. And then there was another type flagpole thing that plugged into the raft. It was more of a sail. It wasn't really a flag, but it was a skull. It was black with a skull and crossbones on it. It looked just like the flag, but just different. It was more triangular than the regular flag. So that was the two sets that were put into that catalog, but they were never advertised or produced or seen again, except for that one thing. So, but so that's pretty much it for this line. There's not, like I said, there's only 6 figures. They look like Master of the Universe figure, cheap Master of the Universe figures, Motu figures. That's about it. Yeah. So
these are pretty cool. I actually like these. The fact that you've got Masters of the Universe out there being made, and then you've got Remco over here just making figures to
go with
their expansion sets made by another company.
Yeah,
that's all they are.
And they probably did sell quite a bit of these because with Remco, I don't know what the original prices were. John, do you have any original prices? No. So
I have not been able to find them yet.
I'm
What year
sure,
they came out.
I'm sure with the way Remco worked right then, because they weren't around much longer after this. I think we've talked about that in past episodes. Um, the they were trying to make these as cheap as possible, but with that Motu fad going, or not a fad, but the Motu thing going on, it could be parents were probably seeing these. Hey, this looks just like one. It's a couple dollars cheaper. I'm going to get this. So I'm sure Remco sold a little bit of these. I mean, they weren't official Motu figures, so um, but it
I
was
did
something.
find this is on Dallas Vintage Toys. They had some on here that were selling for almost $300 a piece.
They are expensive now. Yes.
But the good thing is some of these pictures have price tags, and one of them on here has a Kmart price tag on. That tells you how old these are. Who knows what Kmart is? $2.97.
Okay. Yeah.
So this one actually looks like it's in good condition. So the fact that it sold for 300, it's not bad. And what's his name? Crossbones.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, these are like I said. If you're trying to find these now, you're going to pay pretty good money for these.
Out of box, Andrew, or inbox?
No, this is
Carded or
inbox.
not?
Yeah, it's probably carded. Yeah. So
here,
well, I was just gonna say if it was a uncarded figure going for $300, then
here's a good look at the back of it too, because I know we talked about that.
there you go.
Yeah,
it's just black and white. You see, this one actually has some damage at the top or whatever, but hey, they're not making these, so why not? But yeah, it's just black and white. It's got all the stuff on it. I do like the fact that Remco is actually printing all of their at the bottom down here. They're printing all of their stuff. Like you've got Warlords, Pirates, Warrior Beast, Conan, Sarge, Robot, and Bad Guys. So, it's kind of cool. You get a little checklist for all their little groups, and
Yeah.
So they're getting all kinds of media there, or whatever they're trying to get people to buy things.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all those lines right there were all fit in with the Motu style. So
yeah. I don't know. I like these. I think they're kind of cool. Like I'd take one or two, throw them down here with my Motus, and see where they're at.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, the chances of getting the wrong line. I actually pulled some pictures trying to make our graphics, and accidentally pulled a picture that was of the wrong line, and then had to be like, "Oh no, that has some that aren't the legit ones. Those are the
Those are the newer ones that they came out with."
Oh yeah. So, what do you think, John? What do you know?
What do I know? What?
I feel like you had something you were holding. I feel like you had something.
No, I mean that's everything we had.
All right. Well, before somebody gets a bingo square, let's rank these boogers. Where do these fall
again?
No. Where do these fall in you guys' list?
I am going to put them. I'm going to put them. Let's put them in between. Right around Infaceables. I guess I'll put them right above Infaceables after the world famous Super Monsters. I was kind of playing with that, thinking about what there or underneath, but I think right above Infaceables.
Okay, so 13 for mine.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, that's right.
John?
I really don't know where to put these. I'm sitting here looking at the list right now, and I'm like, these are actually decent, cool-looking action figures.
And I went back. Yeah, I went back and looked to see where I placed the Warlords and the Warrior Beasts. So that was in our round 2 bracket. And my Warlords were 16th, and Warrior Beasts was 19th, I think is what it was.
Warrior Beasts.
So,
Warlords.
yeah, so that's about the same area when we get done.
Yeah. Here's Lost War of the Warlord. Here's Warrior Beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know where you're putting these, John?
Yeah, I'll throw them down there. Let's go under Action Jackson.
So you're looking at
12th for him. Okay.
That's funny. I'm going straight up 10. I'm going to push Mummies Alive down. Even though I like the Mummies Alive, I just like these. I think they're kind of cool. And the fact that I like what Remco's doing. They're giving you the DLC, the expansion packs for toy lines that they may not be making, but they're trying to help and build that. So
yeah,
I like that. I think that's kind of cool.
I don't think they had DLCs back then.
Well, these are not. These are BLCs, buyable. What does the L stand for? What does DLC stand for? Downloadable content. So these are the BCs. These are buyable content.
Buyable content. Yeah.
To help expand.
Yeah, these are the expansion packs. I should have just stuck with that.
So ABC, expandable buyable content.
EBC.
I don't know. You guys
ABC.
I was about to say expandable starts with E, not A.
It's late. I'm tired. I can't spell anyways.
We need something that pops up, some video that pops up that says, "Thanks, Brownsboro, for your education you gave us." Good old backwoods country education. We know how expandable is spelled. There's
expandable. AXPA.
Expandable. Yeah, he's expandable.
So it's X. So sorry, I was wrong too.
All right. I think people already wandered off.
They're like, yeah, we said Brownsboro. They ran off. All right. Well, thanks for listening. This is episode 119. That means we have 118, which we have 116 other lines that we've talked about. We got a couple episodes that we just talked about all kinds of stuff and did recaps. So 116 other lines that you can go look at and talk about. If you don't want to listen to us talk about stupid stuff, then go listen to one of those. I'm sure you can find something that you would like to hear us talk about or you learn about. So check those out, toyrewindpodcast.com or crossthestreamsmedia.com. You can even get that on Apple iTunes or Spotify. While you're there, if you want to give us a ranking, that would be great. Also, while you're at Cross the Streams Media, you can leave us a voicemail. Tell us what you think about the podcast, what toy lines you like to hear about, or, did you have any Pirates of the Galaxseas dressed up like Johnny Depp? Maybe you did. Do that. Check us out. Check out all our toy rankings, our tracker of all the different toy lines, not toy lines, but the toy companies, how many times we've talked about each one, over on toyrewindpodcast.com. Watch the video on YouTube if you're not. Lots of different stuff that you can do. But thanks for listening. Thanks for being a awesome person that likes toys and likes to listen to us talk about random stuff. And unless John and Michael have anything else?
Nope, all good right now.
All right, then. Thanks. There was a sound from the phone. That's a bingo square. Thanks for listening. And on behalf of the Brothers Newland at the Toy Rewind podcast, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.